welcome back to another episode of Baffled. And we have a wonderful welcome back to Jason. Jason has been gone all summer. Uh,
Busy.
and and before we just dive in, because today we're going to be talking about digital safety, Jason, can you just give us a quick rundown highlight of where you have been this entire summer?
Yes. So our program not only services schools throughout the school year, but during the summer, we are in summer camps. And so that means our clubs, Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, rec centers. So we had over 45 camps that we spoke at, and we spoke to over 3,000 students in those camps. And so it was awesome, but it was a very busy summer all through June, all through July. It didn't slow down until August. So that's where I was, and now I'm back. So good to
Yeah,
be
and
back.
and some of those we talked about digital safety in some of those presentations throughout the summer. And
Yes.
the reason we are talking about digital safety, if you're tuning in for the first time or tuning in now recently, um, in August, um, the game Roblox
hmm
banned a creator who was conducting Chris Hansen style gotchas.
Yeah.
He was catching predators, doing the
hmm
Lord's work, he was working with law enforcement to catch predators because predators were using this platform to groom children
hmm
to gain their trust and eventually meet them in real life. And rather than rewarding this kid, Roblox sent him a cease and desist letter. They were suing him, telling
Yeah.
him he needs to stop, rather than recognizing that their platform was a predator's haven. So we have a paradox problem because Roblox is a platform with 79 million daily users, where kids who are usually between the ages of 7 and 10 come to create, play, and connect.
hmm
But from what we have seen, it is also a place where predators are actively hunting for their next victim.
Yep.
So, what do we do when a company bans someone who wants to protect children?
hmm
Um, and what does that tell us about their digital safety priorities? And
Right.
rather than talking about it, let's actually hear it from the horse's mouth.
hmm
Legal complaint from Roblox. I'm not even joking. They have sent a cease and desist letter to me, and they've gone ahead and banned every account I own. And you might be wondering, what heinous crime did you commit to possibly deserve that? Well, what I did was get predators arrested on their platform. Actually, 6 of them. I got 6 predators arrested within the Roblox community. Some of them, the crimes are so heinous, I can't even say here on TikTok or wherever this is going. And the thing that's crazy about it is that Roblox has taken a more firm action against me, a person getting these people arrested, a person that law enforcement has made public statements saying that they are glad when people like me go ahead and give them information so that they can arrest these people. Roblox has sent me the cease and desist letter, not these predators. That is absolutely insane. And the other thing that's crazy about this is Roblox itself. It is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids. That is the whole game. If you join it, you're going to see predators. You're going to see naked avatars. You're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this. And it's so sad. I get emails from kids daily about all the horrible stuff that they're exposed to. I get emails from parents talking about what their kids were exposed to. And there are so many predators on this platform. It is actually unreal. So it's quite crazy to see Roblox go after me, a person trying to get predators arrested off of their platform, than the predators. Why? I don't get it. I don't understand.
hmm hmm
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Unreal.
So obviously he's a YouTuber, he's a social media personality,
hmm
and he is working with law enforcement. It's not like he's
Yeah.
taking the law into his own hands, but he's working together with the police
hmm
to catch these individuals who are grooming minors.
Right.
And he's, again, doing the Lord's work, and he's being sued. And praise the Lord for law agencies who are saying they're recognizing that this is wrong, and they're offering to represent him for free, mainly
Good.
because of the publicity, but representing him because he's working with the police to catch predators, but they have sent him a cease and desist letter. So,
Yeah.
Jason, being that we are in the interest of protecting children, we go into schools, we work with parents, we work with churches, and we want to equip parents and youth workers, one, to misunderstand their teenager, but also to equip young people, teenagers, children, to make good, healthy choices.
Right.
So, what do we do when a platform like Roblox prioritizes their terms of service over child safety? Like, as someone in this space that wants to help parents, what do we do when we're hit with that paradox?
Well, education is key. And one of the things that the young man said in the video was parents are unaware. So knowledge is power, as you know. And so parents need to be involved in what their kids are doing, what they're watching, what they're participating in. Don't just give a phone or tablet and just say, have at it, leave me alone. Just to get you out of my hair. No, you have to be actively involved and be monitoring what they're watching. So whether you check up on them, whether you just kind of go through their history, whether you even put software on their devices just to make sure they're not talking to predators. A good one is Bark. That's a very popular one. Just something that you're monitoring what they're doing. Not that you are trying to constantly, just be over their shoulder, but it's very important that we are aware of what they're doing, who they're talking to, what games they're playing. All that is very important. Roblox is just such a predator's haven, like they said. It's a predator's playground. Anytime I bring it up in a presentation, usually with middle schoolers, they laugh. And I think they laugh for two reasons. Number one, because it's kind of a kiddie game. That's one of the reasons is for the younger crowd. But also, I think they know, like they say, you know, you know. And I think they know what's going on there. And so that's why they laugh when I bring up Roblox. So, yeah, education is key. That's why we do what we do in the classrooms, but also we want to educate parents. So please bring us out to your parent night, your PTA, whatever, so that we can talk about these issues and so that you are aware that you're well equipped to handle these situations.
As you were mentioning that, a lot of some of the conversations that you and I talk about, and even with the book that we read at the
Anxious
beginning,
Generation.
The Anxious Generation by
Yep.
Jonathan Haidt,
There it is.
he talks a lot about that there was a shift with parenting and with the way children used to play. So you and I, when we grew up, we would play a lot outside. We didn't have
Yeah.
technology at our fingertips. We had
Mhm.
video games. I had Super Nintendo, and as when I got a teenager, I had PlayStation. But today, kids have these games unsupervised, and we put more forth of an effort training young people when they turn 16,
Mhm.
telling them of the dangers of the world. When they're getting their learner's permit, we often tell
Yeah,
them that driving is a privilege. It's not a
it
right.
is.
And most of the time they don't get it, but once their license gets suspended, then they begin to realize that it is a privilege. But
Mhm.
so if we go above and beyond to tell them, to prepare them for their driver's license, but yet we don't take that same fervor to
Right.
tell them about social media or Roblox or Discord or Minecraft, whatever, Fortnite. If we as parents don't do our due diligence with these games that are often played in an online community, because again, the difference between today and 20 years ago is that you would buy these games and they were self-sustained. You would play the game, and then it was right before the 2010s where online gaming became a thing, and games that are now free, open source, like a Roblox or like a Fortnite, where it involves the internet. And now you're having people, pedophiles, like, we just call it what it is, pedophiles,
Yeah.
on these platforms looking to find ways to groom children. So
Right.
as Jonathan Haidt talks about the real world and the digital world and how we need to protect our children from the digital world. Haidt explains, as I just mentioned, the decline of play-based childhood to the rise of continual adult supervision that deprived children of independence, even though the real world was becoming increasingly more safe in the 90s and the 2000s, and how the real world had safety mechanisms that worked. We had fences, we had locks on our doors, we had age restricted areas. So like even when you go to the park, they have signs that say this section is for children 2 to 5 or 5 to
Yeah.
12. And then you had adult supervision, whether it's teachers, coaches, lifeguards with training and accountability. You also had legal frameworks about child endangerment, mandatory reporting. They have clear laws about these things. You also had community oversight. So if you live in a subdivision or in a cul-de-sac, there is just like this agreed upon responsibility that we parent our kids together when the kids are playing outside. So you had neighbors and other parents watching out for each other. And then there was this step by step towards graduated independence from the playground to the neighborhood to downtown as kids matured with age. But the digital world is the wild, wild west, where there isn't any meaningful age verification. Children can sign on Facebook or Instagram, create an account without any age verification. They can access adult content and watch pornography online without age verification. And then there's anonymous interactions where predators can hide behind fake profiles. And then there's 24/7 access. There's not a time like when the streetlights came on, you already know when it's sundown that the parks are closed, you got to go home. But the internet is never, it's always on. And then it's a global reach. It's not just regulated to your city or your state. Internet is global. And there's instant escalation where conversations can move from innocent to dangerous in minutes. So what do you, from your opinion or your perspective, Jason, how have you seen this become a reality just with, predators or even catfishing? Because I know in the presentations we offer, we show a scenario where this actually happens.
Right. Yeah, it's gone are the days of the white van at the park, pulling up to the playground with the candy. That those days are, does it happen? Maybe every so often, but it's all these predators are online. They are, social media, online gaming, conversation apps, any opportunity to connect with young people. Where there's a will, there's a way, and they will find it. And so it's a process called grooming. Basically, they send the young person a profile, an invite. They have their picture on there, and usually it's something they ripped off of Google Images of them looking young, attractive. They're maybe in their teen years, and so they hide behind that. And so they friend requests. It starts with just surfacey type conversations, and then it just builds into this relationship. And this predator knows how to play the game. They know what to say, how to say it. They feed off the information that they get from your child. So if they start to talk about common interests, or they start to talk about what's going on in their personal life, this predator will pretend to understand, pretend to know, and just pretend to care. And so your child may be like, this person gets me. Nobody gets me. My parents don't get me. I can tell anything to this person and they understand me. Well, it's all a game. It's all a facade. And they will prey on this young person by gathering that information and then, of course, using that information against them, manipulation. And then, of course, what it ultimately leads up to is them meeting up with your child at a local park, playground, somewhere, or they'll be brazen enough to come to the front door, where there's whatever they want to do to meet up, they'll do it, and they'll make a way. Parents, we need to be aware. These conversations have to be nip in the bud. They have to be squashed once they're brought to light. We educate students to, if you're having these conversations, and even if you've gone too far with these conversations, I don't care. You have to rat yourself out. You have to snitch on yourself and tell your parents what's been going on, what's been saying. Show them the receipts, show them the conversation, and then call the police, because these people need to be brought to justice. So this is education 101. We have to let young people know that we don't just give them a device, we don't just give them a phone, help them to understand the dangers that could happen,
Hmm.
and just don't assume that everybody's your friend online.
Yeah, there's things that we can do on certain devices where, for example, on phones, if you have an iPhone, you make your family. If you have a Google phone, you make your family. And once you are the chief administrator, no one can just download games or download anything without your permission.
Right.
It gives you an alert. And if you don't have those safeguards embedded, your children can go ahead and download these games. Another thing you can do is when they ask you permission to download this game, whether it's on their PlayStation or on their phone or on their Nintendo Switch,
Hmm.
do your research first to watch the game.
Yeah.
Same thing with the movies that they watch. Do your diligence. Don't just say yes to everything. Investigate what's going on. Is there an inappropriate scene on the movie? Actually, Snoop Dogg is under fire right now. Are you familiar with what happened, Jason? Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
is under fire because rather than doing his due diligence, and I get it, you're watching a Toy Story spinoff Lightyear movie,
Yeah.
and he's taking his, to the movies, and next thing you know, incognito, it's not explicit, but two women have a child. And he's like, Grandpa, how can two women have a baby?
Yeah.
And now you're confronted with something you were not prepared to have a conversation about with a
Hmm.
child
You're right.
because this was rated PG. So gone are the days where even PG things,
Hmm.
what PG means today is not the same what PG meant in the 1980s. So you now have to do your due diligence. And I understand it's more work. Like we're already tired from work, but now we have to do the next thing.
Hmm.
So when it comes to Roblox specifically, what parents need to know is that Roblox is not your run of the mill game. It's not a Spider-Man Miles Morales that they're playing on PlayStation 5. It's not a closed
Right.
world game. This is user generated content. You have millions of games created by user that's impossible to be monitored by everybody. It also involves real money. So you buy real skins, you buy real gift cards and tokens.
Hmm.
There's a voice and video chat. So there's direct communication tools embedded within the game.
Right.
And then so, safety measures versus reality, other platforms have moderation, but with this case, it's just out in the open. So if you're a parent and you look at this, you can say my children are not going to be on it. But if you still, there are ways that you can still protect your children on there. So with
Yeah.
one, you can turn off chats completely. You can
Hmm.
allow them to play, but disable all the chats on there so that they end up not talking to a predator.
Right.
Um, you can make it where their profiles are private. So where you can also review, go in there and review their friends list regularly and ask them, who's this person? Who's this person? Who's this person? How do you
Hmm.
know them?
Hmm.
Look at their transaction, use parental control, but don't rely on them exclusively.
Hmm.
Have the conversation, create tech agreements. What are some other things, Jason, that we can do before we wrap up this conversation?
I think this is really good that we're having this conversation because knowledge is power, like we keep saying. But I think, we really need to do our best as parents to read, study, get as much education as possible. YouTube, obviously, there's a lot of good videos out there you can tap into, but there's an organization called Access that will send you a weekly email, and they kind of inform you what's going on. So any opportunity to learn, grow, and it doesn't have to be hours and hours of studying. It just, just little videos on YouTube, little emails that you get weekly, just to be on the up and up. So, and it's constantly changing. That's the thing. It's constantly, once you think you have it down to a science, it changes again. So you got to be aware of what's going on. You got to be on the up and up. There's different podcasts. Obviously, Baffled is a great resource. So please follow us and like us and share. And but there's other podcasts as well. Access has a podcast called The Cultural Translator.
Mm-hmm.
So please have these resources at your fingertips, and never stop learning, never stop growing, and just make sure you are on the up and up.
Yeah, your children are not expecting you to speak their language,
Right?
but it's another thing to understand their language.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be that cringe parent that's trying to
Yeah.
say no cat, bro. And
Right,
it's like, because
right.
if it's not you, it's not you. But understand what their words mean.
Right. Well, unless you're a dad like me and you want to embarrass your kids, then yes, have at it. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Jason, you mentioned that this is what we do. We go into schools, we go into churches. So if a school administrator is listening, if a youth pastor is
Yes,
listening, how can they contact us to invite us
of
in
course.
to do this presentation?
Yes. Best way is to visit our website. We're called More to Life. Our initials are M2L. So it's M the number 2L. So put that in the website. It's M the number 2L.org, and just contact us, send us an email, and let us know if you want us to come out to your school, your church, your PTA, your any type of parent groups or group settings. Big or small, doesn't matter. We will be there. We do virtual as well. So I know it's hard to get parents in the same room at the same time because everybody's going different directions. We've done virtuals through Zoom, and the parents could be in the comfort of their own home or driving in the car and tune into the presentation. So please use our resources. We love to come out and speak to your group.
Yeah. So again, we represent More to Life. Baffled is our podcast where we want to help where we want to help parents and youth workers understand their misunderstood teen. So if you
Absolutely.
want to invite us out, click the link in the bio. If you're getting any value from this podcast, this video, make sure you follow us wherever you are streaming your podcast, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Apple, whether it's Spotify. If you're watching
Hmm.
this on video, make
Hmm.
sure you give us the thumbs up for the algorithm. Make sure you share this with your friends, with your family, any other parents, and also subscribe. Subscribe to this channel so that you
Yes,
can receive any notification whenever we drop a podcast episode.
please
So,
do.
again, my name is Jonathan,
And I'm Jason.
and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. This is Baffled.
Take care.